Calling all my sweeties to the forefront. I'm your host, Renee Hayslett, and this is the Keep It Positive Sweetie Show. Whether you're tuning in from your couch, your car, or a quiet moment of peace, I want you to take a deep breath and get ready for a little soul work wrapped in joy. Because today, we're not just talking, we're transforming. Let's get into it. And remember, keep it positive, sweetie. She is the visionary behind the Honeypot Company, a feminine care brand rooted in plant based healing, ancestral wisdom, and fearless innovation. What started as a spiritual download became a movement that is now stocked in homes, shelves, and hearts across the world. Sweeties, please give a warm welcome to Bea Dixon. Bea, thank you so much for taking time to be with us today.
Problem. Thanks for having me here.
Of course. I've been trying to get you on. Our schedules
It's
have
been
been
crazy.
yes. This has been a crazy
It
year.
has.
Yes, flying by. I feel like
Yeah,
it was just
I
January and
know.
we're in June. I'm
It's
like,
wild.
it
I'm
is.
grateful, but it's crazy.
Yes, so grateful.
Mm,
Yes. So, for those who don't know, you are the founder and creator of Honeypot.
yes.
I went to a panel at the Gathering Spot years ago when you first started,
Yeah.
and I remember you telling the story about how this idea came to you in a dream. Can you tell us a little more about that and
Yeah.
how Honeypot came to be the mega business that it is
Oh, thank
today?
you.
Of course.
Honestly, it's interesting. So I had bacterial vaginosis for almost a year, and and I tried everything that you can imagine. I tried medicine. So I basically lived on antibiotics for almost 8 months, which is probably part of the reason why I had
Right.
BV for almost a year, right? Because I never really gave my body the time to replenish its microbiome, right? Whether that was my gut, my vagina, everything. Um, so I did that. I lived on Flagyl or clindamycin or metronidazole. For anybody who's had BV, you know what I'm talking about. I also lived on Google, right? Which is definitely not the place where you should be
Man.
when your vagina's acting up.
Right.
And I tried everything. I mean, everything.
Mm,
I was talking to people on Google forums trying to figure out what worked for them. We were all just trading advice on what would work.
wow.
It was wild. But nothing worked, obviously, because none of the things that I was doing was really sustainable for my body.
Mhm.
Until one day my grandmother came to me one morning and basically had told me that she had been walking with me and seeing me struggle, and she knew what to do.
Mhm.
It's funny, I always imagine her being like, let me go help this baby.
Right.
you know
My baby is struggling down
yeah,
there.
because
Yeah.
I was because what the BV that I had, because there's all different kind of strains of it. There's different variations of how bad or how light it can be. Some people
Right.
don't even know they have BV, right? The
Mhm.
kind that I had,
Yeah.
I mean, I was the person that stunk up the bathroom, right?
Yeah.
I was the
Mhm.
person, when I got in a car, you could smell me. Like
Yeah.
that happened to me a couple of times.
Mhm.
And it wasn't just me in the car,
Right.
so it came with a lot of shame,
Mhm.
with a lot of stigma, you know, with a lot of embarrassment. It just wasn't great, you know.
Yeah.
And so when my grandmother came, she literally handed me a piece of paper and she told me that what I needed was on the paper and I needed to memorize it. And so I just started repeating the ingredients over and over again. I
Mhm.
had no idea what it was going to be, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
And then finally she told me to wake up. She's like, "Yo, wake up." And so I woke up and I wrote it down. I went to work that day because I worked at Whole Foods. I bought all the stuff. I went
Wow.
home that night, made myself. I have a background in pharmacy.
Okay.
I used to work in IV rooms and compounding pharmacies and
Mhm.
I did all kinds of stuff. And so she knew that if she gave me the ingredients, I would be able to figure out the math to figure out to make myself a formula, you
Wow.
know? And
Yeah.
it turned out to be a wash. And I started using it right away. And within a few days, my symptoms were gone. It was wild.
That's
hmm
crazy.
It was
Wow. What did
crazy.
you think is like the most common misconception when it comes to BV? Because a lot of women struggle with this, but there's so many different people think there's something wrong with them.
People think it's something wrong with them. People think that something's wrong with their partner that they
Hmm.
may be having sex with.
Yeah.
A lot of relationships can end because of it.
Mhm.
And literally, it could just be a chemistry thing, you know?
Mhm.
If the person that you're having sex with, whether they're from the opposite sex or not, right?
Yeah.
Especially if they're from the opposite sex, if
Mhm.
their, you know, pH is too high in their semen, which is normal, because
Mhm.
semen is carrying what?
Yep.
Life,
Like,
right?
yes.
And
Mhm.
so sometimes their pH can be a bit higher. And if your pH was already off and then you had sex, even if all of that didn't come inside of you, right? Like
Yeah.
even if it's just the chemistry of pre,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
It
Yes.
can still affect you, you
Wow.
know? And so it could just be a chemistry thing. It doesn't mean you're dirty. It doesn't mean they're dirty. It just means
Mhm.
that like the pHs aren't matching up, you know?
Yeah.
I think, another misconception is people not understanding that whatever you're doing on a daily basis
Mhm.
is probably throwing you off,
Mm.
right?
Can you give us some examples of things that throw people off
So,
on a daily
like,
basis?
examples of things that throw people off are using body wash, your everyday body wash,
Mhm.
right? Using things like Bronner soap or
And I used to use that.
and it's
Yeah.
fine to use it on your body,
Yeah, but
but
not.
it's not made for your vulva or your
Mhm.
vagina, right?
Yeah.
Even though you're not putting it inside of you where your vagina is,
Right.
whatever you do on the outside is affecting the inside. So
Mhm.
using soaps, even bar soaps, certain bar soaps, if they
Mhm.
have a high pH, then they're probably going to throw you off because again, the chemistry of that soap
Mhm.
isn't made for that part of your body. It's no different than you're not going to use the same thing on your body, on your face,
Nope.
right?
I used to when I was young.
And
Like,
I'm
in college, I literally used to use dial soap
but you
everywhere.
were thugging it out,
I
right? Like
was,
you didn't have any
yes.
money, that's what you had to
Mhm.
do,
Now I don't,
right?
yeah.
And
Mhm.
so, and even then, I'm sure it was stripping your skin,
Mhm.
because the pH of the vulva and the face are actually the vagina, excuse me, and the face are actually very similar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so, so whatever you're doing on a daily basis, pay attention to that. You don't need to
Mhm.
use washcloths. You should just use your hand just
Mhm.
when you're, cleaning inside your lips and everything.
Right.
And actually like after you have sex,
Mhm.
actually getting, especially if you're a person who's susceptible to any kind of infection,
Mhm.
you need to get up, you need to go pee, you need to get in the shower
Mm.
and wash off,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Even if you're going to get busy again, just, you have, when you're a person who's prone to infection,
Mhm.
you have to be hyper vigilant. The moment you're done working out, you need to be changing your panties, right? Bringing
Mhm.
some wipes, cleaning yourself
Yes.
up a little bit. It sounds gross, but after you poo, don't just use toilet paper, babe.
Mhm.
You know,
Teach us.
no,
Yes.
I mean,
That's it.
you
Yeah, you got it.
use some wipes. If
Mhm.
you're in a pinch and all you got is toilet paper, because that happens sometimes,
Yeah.
the moment you get home, clean
Mhm.
yourself up,
Yeah.
right? Especially if you're wearing a thong or something like that.
Mhm.
These are all, it's a lot of misconceptions,
Yeah.
right? But when you think about it, if depending on the type of panties you're wearing, especially if it's a thong and you did go to the bathroom and didn't clean up, that bacteria is just,
Mhm.
you understand what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Mhm.
So, like, you know, m- a lot of the issue is overgrowth of bad bacteria.
Yeah.
And when the pH is above 4.5,
Mhm.
you have just created an environment because our microbiome, whether it's our gut or our vagina, right? Our
Mhm.
microbiome has good and bad, but it's supposed to.
Yes.
And they should be yin and yang. They should be even, right?
Mhm.
But the moment the right environment presents itself, they will multiply. And they don't multiply by the tens, they multiply by the millions, by the billions. So that's how quickly an infection can come. So
Mhm.
that's why using things like our washes are important,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
Um, you know, if you're a person who shower, or excuse me, if you're a person who's susceptible to infection, taking a shower in the morning, take a shower at night.
Mhm.
It may feel like a lot, right? But it's not.
Yeah.
You know, when you think of when you've slept all night, you've sweated,
Yes.
right? You've
Mhm.
maybe you didn't wear panties, maybe you
Mhm.
did, maybe
Mhm.
maybe you're a person who wears full pajamas. You understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
no, I do, yeah.
All those things create environments.
Mhm.
And so, it's just important to keep yourself clean, keep yourself
Yeah.
dry,
Mhm.
you know, and take
Yeah.
care of yourself.
No, I use your product ever since that panel that you spoke on with Malika. Started using your foam wash,
Yeah.
and that was the first time I'd heard that we were supposed to wash with our hands and not with our rag.
Yep.
Because as from a kid to adulthood,
Yeah.
my
Me
mom did
too.
teach us like use a different rag for your face and your body,
Mhm.
but we were using the same
Yep.
rag for everything, not
Mhm.
thinking that you're, especially like when you're not washing the rag, using a brand new rag every day.
Which you should be,
Yes,
right? In
exactly.
every shower, right?
Mhm.
If you're a person who uses washcloths, then you
Mhm.
should change your washcloth, right?
Yes, every day.
And you probably should be at least every year, or if you're a crazy person like me, every 6 months,
Mhm.
changing your washcloths,
Yes.
right? You should be changing your panties at least once a year. Like that
Mhm.
means ones that you frequent and wear all, not the cute ones, not
Yeah.
the fly ones when you like, get dressed up and all the things,
Mhm.
but like, the panties you wear on a daily basis,
Yes.
because we all have those. You
Mhm.
should be recycling those. Like that should be happening every 6 months,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And these are things that we aren't aware
Thoughts?
of. We're
No.
not taught, right? And
No.
even if you can't do it every 6 months,
Mhm.
at least do it once, once a year,
A good refresh.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
because,
love that.
you know, bacteria, whether you wash it or not, is still present.
And then it goes like to even like your detergents. I've heard the
Oh,
detergents, and
yeah.
then the fabrics of your underwear.
Cotton should
Yes.
be what you wear on a
Mm-hmm.
daily basis.
Yeah.
Again, when you're trying to be cute, be
Mm-hmm.
cute.
Yeah.
Wear your cute little lace, do your thing. But on a
Mm-hmm.
daily basis, you should wear cotton panties.
Yeah.
Our vaginas just aren't set up for all these different types of materials and stuff.
Yeah, I'm learning so much as like having these conversations, and even like Instagram, how they'll let you know, like even the tampons and the pads, which I love that you use pure cotton. Like
Yeah.
everything that you put out is good for us down there.
Yeah. Thank you.
And as we get older, like for me, I'm getting older. I sweat at night. I sweat throughout the day, and I
Listen.
keep those wipes on me.
Yes, Lord. Me
And they're
too.
good for everything. You can use those on your face, your
Your body,
underarms,
everywhere.
everything. That's why I love. See,
Yeah.
I be using them. I know.
Thank you.
Of
Thank you.
course. No, but that is something that you have to keep with you. When you got this idea from your grandmother, you built this with your brother.
Mhm.
What was that like working with him and building? Because I know a lot of times family dynamics can be weird when it comes to working.
Yeah,
What was it like
things
building this
things can
this
get
brand with
weird.
him?
It was beautiful, you
Yeah.
know. It
And
was
you started in
beautiful.
your apartment. Where did you guys start with this one?
Um, in my house, and then in his office, and then
Mhm.
back to my house,
Wow.
and then we rented like a loft, and then he was moving was moving and decided to get an apartment, and then we used the loft as our where he lived as the office, and then yeah, so
That's
yeah, but it
amazing.
was beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah.
Were there ever any moments where you were like, all right, like,
Of course. Of
because I feel
course.
like everybody that works with a family, it's always like those little moments where you're like,
I think whether you're working with family or not, those
mm-hmm.
moments are going to happen,
Yeah.
and normally you spend a lot of time with the people you work with,
Mm-hmm.
and so sometimes you're not going to agree.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes things are going to be hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're going to go through periods of not talking. So,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
all kinds of things can happen,
No, for sure. Yeah.
but when the love is there, it'll get back
Mm.
eventually.
Absolutely. Yes. Being that Honeypot it came through a spiritual download, how has your purpose for this brand grown over the years?
It's always been grounded in that. It still is, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
because I just feel like it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime the ancestors gift us with anything,
Mm-hmm.
I think that it has to be held with a certain care or
Yes.
regard.
Mm-hmm.
Because normally when that happens, there's probably a lot of purpose behind it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so it remains to be the most important part of what we are and who we
Mm-hmm.
are.
Yeah.
Our goals here are to serve humanity, to serve humans first,
Mm-hmm.
to be good to each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, it's it's at the helm of what we do.
Mm-hmm. And that piggybacks off my next question. Staying in alignment with your why in an
Mhm.
industry that's constantly shifting. How do you stay focused on this is what we're doing, but it's so many different things happening and shifting in the beauty industry and in the wellness industry.
We work really hard to stay focused
Mm-hmm.
because like you said, it's easy because of the industry, and it's just easy to want to do everything,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't do everything. If you do
Yeah.
everything, you're doing nothing,
Mm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so we've worked really hard you know, to create rules of engagement for ourselves for how we operate
Mm.
as a company,
Yeah.
right? We've worked really hard to create rules of engagement for how we innovate products, right? For how we speak to people, for how we
Mhm.
sell things to our retailers,
Mhm.
and so
Yeah.
everything is pretty much done with a lot of order, you
Mhm.
know, kind of because it just has to be,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we do know that we are in an ever changing environment.
Mhm.
And that doesn't mean that things don't shift and change, because things shift and change all the time,
Absolutely.
especially when it comes to how we bring products to market.
Mhm.
Sometimes we need to pull things up, sometimes we need to push things back,
Mhm.
because you have to pay attention to what your customers are telling you. You have to pay attention to what's happening in the world. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so,
Yes.
things constantly ebb and flow, but I think we really try to keep our finger on the pulse and really have values about
Yeah.
us that we
Right.
don't deviate from,
Mhm. Yeah.
that kind of just sit at the cornerstone of who we are and what we do.
I love that.
Yeah.
When the noise gets loud, because I know it can get loud sometimes, and you have to make these big business decisions,
Mm.
how do you stay true to your truth and say no? Because I know, like, sometimes when they throw the right dollar amount, or it's like this is an opportunity of a lifetime. How do you like stay true to your truth and where how you say where it started and
Mm.
was founded off of?
I think, look, if something is thrown at us and it makes sense
Mm-hmm.
and it can be done,
Yeah.
then we'll find a way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if something is thrown at us, it can't just be about money,
Yeah.
you know? It has to be layered. It has to be able to serve the humans we serve.
Mm.
It has to be able money is a part of the conversation because it
Mhm.
needs to be,
Yeah.
especially if we're going to rush something, or whatever the
Right.
situation is, right?
Mhm.
Um it needs to be able to work operationally. It
Mhm.
needs to be able to, to flow through our kind of through our system of how we innovate and how we bring things to market. There's a
Mhm.
whole system, like we're
Yeah.
working to be 2-3 years ahead, right?
Mhm. Right.
Because when you're constantly kind of hand to mouth, especially when it comes to creating products, especially the way we do it, because we
Mhm.
we need to clinically test, and we need to,
Yeah.
and sometimes we have to like choose a different type of test, or you know
Mhm.
what I mean. And so
Mhm.
it can be difficult,
Yeah.
but I think that it still has to it still has to check the boxes, though.
Yeah.
If it doesn't check the boxes, then it doesn't make sense,
Mhm.
then we can't do it.
Right. Exactly. You said something about clinically testing things. I'm really interested to know, like, what is the whole process of going from the kitchen to the labs to the shelves?
Yeah.
Because it seems like
A million things happen
yeah.
before a product goes on the shelf.
Yeah.
Hundreds, if not thousands, of man hours have gone in. We are validating with customers, we're validating with our retailers,
Mhm.
we're validating with data, we're validating with gut, we're
Mm.
validating with team.
Yeah.
We're running pilots to make sure that it's going to flow right in
Mhm.
production.
Mhm.
We're before it even gets there, where we have to do probably multiple iterations of the thing to make sure it has the right feel, it has the right smell,
Mhm.
it has the right amount of herbs in it. It has, like,
Yeah.
um, it we have a whole system, um, for how we even start to vet things, right?
Mhm.
That's a multi kind of prong process.
Mhm.
You know, like we have gate cards, and before a product can even get to everything that I just described, it
Mhm.
has to go through a gate process.
Oh,
And
wow.
that, you know, like we have to bring it to market, or we have
Mhm.
to bring the idea up. We have to love it. We have to, you know, we have to
Mhm.
lock it. We have to,
Yeah.
like, there's so many things that happen.
Mhm.
So many things that happen. We have a brand team. Our brand team has to be involved. Our sales team has to be involved. Our
Mm.
ops team has to be involved.
Mhm.
Marketing has to be involved.
Wow.
Campaigns have to be built. Like, it's
Mhm.
wild, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
That's crazy. So how did, like, as an entrepreneur, I'm just fascinated. How
Yeah.
do you go about building all those different departments to make this machine run?
It takes time,
Mhm.
you know. It takes time. It takes money.
Mhm.
It takes years.
Yeah.
It takes having the right um it takes having the right leadership team and the right strategic minds in the right place,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
Um because when you have the top built, then it's easier to build out through the rest of the organization, because you
Mhm.
have the right minds that are hiring the right people, you
Exactly.
know.
Mhm.
But it takes time, you
Mhm.
know. I mean, what's the saying? Rome wasn't built in
Within
a
the day.
day, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Um, I mean, we started in 2012. Was this 13 years later?
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
we're just now in the past couple of years able to have a brand team, and, you know, like, we've always had a sales team and a
Yeah.
marketing team, and,
Mhm.
you know, but we've really built out a beautiful marketing structure
Mhm.
that kind of operates like an agency, kind of, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
But again, it just takes time, and
Mhm.
you have to let the time, um you kind of have to let it take the time that it's going to take,
Mhm.
because there's a lot that you need to know before you even get there,
Yes.
you know.
Mhm.
You know, and so it's I think it requires a lot of patience.
Yeah.
um you know, but it's really important, because that's one of the hardest things, right, about being in business, is
Mhm.
having the right team.
Yes. Mhm. So important. Yeah.
We've always been lucky to find the right people at the
Mhm.
right time based on where we were, you
Mhm.
know. And when we worked with VMG, which was, you know, our first private equity fund, not our first round of funding. They
Yeah.
weren't our first investors,
Mhm.
but they really brought a ton of expertise, and they were
Mhm.
able to really wrap their arms around us.
Mhm.
Not that our previous investors couldn't, but VMG just had they had they had an internal headhunting service. They
Mhm.
had access to really expensive data. They had the access to to the things that we needed that we
Right.
wouldn't have been able to afford.
Mhm.
Right? You cannot afford a headhunting service when you're an $8 or $10 million business,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Mhm.
you maybe can do it for one or two employees, but it's just hard. It's hard to do, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when we got with them, that's how big we were, you know, or
Mhm.
small we were, rather.
Mhm.
um you know, like, big or small, I guess, is relative
Mhm.
based on the size of your business is, but
Mhm.
for in CPG, that's a pretty small business, you know.
Mhm. Okay.
And so, because they were able to come in and really help us to build structure around our team,
Mhm.
and help us to build structure around the way we built the business, help us to build structure around our operations, because in our type of business,
Mhm.
because we sit in all different parts of the regulatory system through the
Yeah.
FDA,
Mhm.
you know, regulatory is really important, and that
Yes.
really lives in ops, you know.
Mhm.
And so I think it's not necessarily always about you knowing what you need, but having the right people surrounding you,
Mhm.
that, you know, which they were the type of investors that it wasn't just about money.
Yeah.
You know, we were
Mhm.
at the stage in our business where, you know, like, we didn't just need money, we needed all the things,
Mhm.
because that's what it was. We were about to hit scale, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And we did after that,
Mhm.
and we were poised, and we weren't ready for it, but we
Mm.
got ready,
Got ready. And how did you get ready for that? And what did that pressure feel like knowing that it's here and we're not ready yet?
Um, it felt wild, but we've always been able to do things we weren't necessarily technically ready for. I
Mhm.
think I think we were ready to do it because if we weren't ready, the opportunity wouldn't have presented itself.
Yep.
But when you looked at the business
Mhm.
and where we were as a company and like
Yeah.
the way our team was set up and all that kind of stuff, like if you were
Mhm.
just looking at us, you would be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, y'all aren't ready." You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Right. Yeah.
In fact, you know, we had pitched BMG at first, and they had told us that it wasn't the right time. And
Mm.
then we got that commercial with Target, and
Mhm.
then it went viral, and then they were like,
You
you
know
know
what?
what we said? We said it wasn't time.
It's not.
It's probably time, and it was,
Yeah.
because our business tripled that next year.
Wow.
It was
That's
it was wild.
incredible.
So like even though we weren't ready, we got ready. And I
Yeah.
think I think when it comes to business, that's the important part,
Mhm.
is that that you have the ability to get ready and
Yes.
do whatever it's going to take.
Mhm.
And that's hard because
Yeah.
not everybody is set up that way,
They're not.
you
No,
know?
that's so true.
Yeah.
Yes. From the time that you got the ingredients, how fast did you jump on it and take that leap of faith to say, I'm going to quit my job at Whole Foods and I'm going for this full throttle?
None of us quit our jobs. None of us quit our jobs. I was the first person. Antoinette was working full time Honeypot. Um, Me, Cy, Linda, um, we all still had our full time work. And by this time, I wasn't working at Whole Foods anymore. I was a broker. And then I had gotten a job as an area sales manager for a company called Rhythm Superfoods, and that was actually my last job.
Hmm.
I didn't stop working that job until we were 7 months into Target.
Wow.
Yeah,
See, I love to hear that because a lot of people think that,
you definitely shouldn't quit your job.
right. Yeah.
Honeypot wouldn't have been able. It couldn't have. I don't believe that you should quit your job until your business can pay you
Hmm.
at bare minimum at least 80% of what your current salary is.
Right. Yeah.
Enough to get by,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
I think my salary at the time was, I don't know, 50,000. It wasn't a lot of money.
Hmm.
Um I had a job though. And
Yeah.
so unless Honeypot was going to be able to pay me that,
Hmm.
then I couldn't quit my job because
Yeah.
I needed to eat. I needed to
Yes.
keep a roof.
Hmm.
I was in a marriage then. I'm completely out of that marriage now, thank God. But I was doing a lot
Hmm.
at that
Yeah.
time. If I was to just rely on Honeypot, I would have been. It was already desperate situation. It would have been
Hmm.
even more desperate, and that's not really a position you want to put yourself in
Mm-mm.
when you're running a
Yeah.
business.
No, for sure. So we talk about going from $50,000 a year to millions.
Hmm.
And I love talking about financial literacy. What were some of the things that you had to learn fast from going from that much money to millions of dollars?
Hmm.
And what were the adjustments that you had to make?
I'm still adjusting.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can imagine it's a lot.
yeah, it is a lot.
Hmm.
But I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I think that saying money, more problems.
Hmm.
I won't say it's more money, more problems. Um, but things present themselves based on where you are in your life.
Yeah.
And and you just have to do what you have to do. You
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
I've had several things present themselves, and I've been able to handle it and take care of it.
Hmm.
But the good thing about when you are a multimillionaire is that you're not necessarily touching your money. Your money sits in the market,
Hmm.
and you borrow against your money, right? While your money is growing,
Yeah.
and then you 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 pay your low interest rate and you
Yes.
just keep it pushing,
Uh-huh.
and then you pay it off as you go,
Mhm.
but you don't put yourself in a position where you're spending your own cash.
Mm.
Sometimes you might have to dip into it, and
Mhm.
that's okay.
Mhm.
But I think that that's a positive adjustment.
Mhm.
That was something that I had to learn, that I
Yeah.
had to wrap my mind around,
Right.
because I you know I come not from nothing,
Mhm.
but my mom never had money. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah.
We were homeless when I was a kid. I was homeless when at one time when I moved to Atlanta,
Mhm.
for we were homeless for a couple of months,
Wow.
you know. So I'm saying all that to say that, like, I know what it is to have, like,
Mhm.
to be at bottom, at
Yeah.
zero. And so it makes you value what it is when you have amassed wealth.
Yes.
Um, but also what happens when that happens, which is interesting, uh, is you have to work with yourself to not have the mentality of of when you were rubbing wood and nickels
Yeah.
together.
That
You know what
scarcity
I mean?
mindset.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You have,
Yeah.
and I don't have a scarcity mindset at all. I
Mhm.
have a very abundant mindset,
Mhm.
but that doesn't mean that every now and again
Yeah.
some scarcity creeps in, or a
Yeah.
little bit of fear creeps in,
Mhm.
or you forget what you have, or how, or like, I don't necessarily know how to handle all this. Like,
Yeah.
it's new to me, very
Yeah.
new, in
Yeah.
fact.
Mhm.
And so, I'm growing as
Yeah.
just doing my best.
I love it. Who were some of the people that you reached out to say, "Hey, like I've accrued all this income and now I need help trying to manage it."
Well, Sai was able to set us up pretty good with our
Mhm.
trust and all the stuff, which I'm grateful for.
Mhm.
And then, you have your wealth advisors around you.
Mhm.
You have, you should keep other people around you, other kind of advisors that you can
Mhm.
talk to, because you should never just trust what one person is saying. You should
Mhm.
always get a couple different opinions. You
Right.
should always be taking your portfolio and maybe taking it somewhere else for somebody to look at, so they can
Mhm.
be like, hey, maybe you should think about it like X, Y, and Z. That doesn't mean you have to move it, but you
Mhm.
should, you know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
should you should keep yourself aware of
Mhm.
what's going on, and you also should make sure that the people that are managing your cash value it and appreciate it, because you can
Yeah.
take that anywhere, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
But just having the right people around you, I think, is important.
Mhm.
And one thing that Sai taught me a long time ago is to kind of forget about my bread.
Mm.
So really, honestly, unless it's a big thing,
Yeah.
that shit don't even exist.
Yeah.
You know, I just live off of what I make. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
um, and so, and if I need something, which normally it has to be a big thing,
Yeah.
and normally that big thing is another asset or something like
Right.
that.
Mhm.
So really, I'm just taking one asset and moving it to another asset.
Right.
And so that's the way I think about it, but that's very rudimentary.
Mhm.
you know, but yeah, but thank you for asking.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, because I'm a growing entrepreneur, making a lot more money than I've ever made
Yeah,
before. So
and these are
I
things we
love
need to
asking these,
know.
yes, and having the community to ask, so like to have access to you to be able to say, "Hey, Bia, what did you
And
do?"
what are you doing?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
shit, maybe you got some
Yes,
stuff to teach me.
exactly. Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, we all, each one teach one.
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
definitely don't. I don't know anything at all. I'm just doing
Mhm.
my best.
Yeah, no, you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
Yes. When it comes to owning beauty brands, especially in the Black space, oftentimes when owners sell, our community says, "Oh, they sold out,"
Which
instead
is
of selling up.
ridiculous.
It is very much
Yeah.
ridiculous. You sold Honeypot for $380 million.
hmm
Mind blowing. Take me to that moment when you inside decided, "Hey, it's time." Who approached you? How did it come about?
So here's the thing you need to know, because we had several rounds of funding.
Mhm.
One of those investors was a venture capital
Mhm.
fund. One of those investors was a private equity fund.
Okay.
We have the original investors from the beginning,
Mhm.
right? Um, Nobody is investing money in your business to just let it sit there.
Come on.
Nobody is. So if you invest your money in the stock market, you invest it in the stock market for what? If you have a 401k, you invest it in the 401k for what?
Yes.
Because you want it to grow.
Yep.
So it grows. Hopefully you have investments that have dividends and pay you back.
Right.
Hopefully you have enough, even if you just had $100,000 in the market, and if you know, if you had $100,000 in the market, easy numbers, and you're able to get, I don't know, 7% on that, that's $7,000.
Yeah.
Right?
10%
on that's $10,000.
Yeah.
That's money that you're getting back every year if the market's doing well. Right? So having a business and having an investor is the same exact thing. But the only thing is these investors have to wait much longer than putting their money in the market.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They could put their bread in the market and it could just grow, and they don't even have to think about it. They don't have to be involved. Or what if a business fails? What if it doesn't? What if there's terrible moments? What if anything can happen? Right?
Yeah.
So when I hear that statement, or even when I've experienced it in past, it makes me a little bit sad, because we should be happy, because it does not happen every day.
Yeah.
That, you know, and even what we did, it wasn't a full sale. It was a strategic, it was a partnership with another public private equity fund, right?
Yeah.
But we needed to make our investors that had been along the journey with us since the beginning, we needed to make them whole.
Yeah.
So when it comes to who, you know, how did it come about? It had to come about because when you sign with a private equity fund, when they invest money, they need that return on their investment within 4 to 5 years. We were coming up on that time.
Yeah.
You never want to be in a position where you've signed a contract and it said that you have to wrap it up within 4 to 5 years, either IPOing or selling, but they don't really want you to IPO. They want you to sell because they want to get their money back now.
Yes.
Right? And so you never want to be in a position where they are on you to do the thing. Right? You never want to be in a position where you sign this, it's not your choice. We're going to take you to market.
Right.
Not that they would have done that, but they could have done that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And we didn't want to put ourselves in that situation. Plus, once your business gets to, you know, high numbers, you know, in the early 9 figures, that's also when it's time.
Yeah.
Because you don't want your business to be so big that you can't find the right partner for the time that you're in business in. Right? We were lucky that we found a private equity partner, and the private equity partner that we did, because that gave us the opportunity to have a second bite at the apple. Right? And so, you know, I'm giving you details so that we can understand as a community what these things look like.
Yeah, they're speaking from ignorance because they don't know
You
what it looks
don't understand what it looks like, and that's okay. But when you don't understand, say you don't understand.
Yes.
Don't hold founders to a standard that you think is right in your mind, but you have no idea. Nobody's selling out. We're just doing what people in business do.
Yep.
Take my color out of your mind. Take my vagina out of your mind. I'm a businessman like anybody else.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're a business person like anybody else. Right?
Yep.
And nobody should expect you to do anything because you're a Black woman. These are constructs that aren't real. Right? So we are doing what we have to do. We're minding our business.
Right.
Right? We're growing our company. I'm sorry, y'all. Anybody that's in business, hopefully you're in it to make money.
Yeah.
Because that's what business is for.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? When you look at what it takes to get to even the level of success that we are at now,
Yeah.
the amount of stress, the amount of time, the amount of energy, the amount of manpower, the amount of money, the amount of investors, the amount of airplanes, the amount of hotels, the amount of eating out,
Yeah.
the amount of weight, the um the amount of sacrifice that it takes to do this, it should make you rich. That's the
Okay.
point.
He said, listen,
That's the point.
that's the point.
What is the point?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to just put myself through slavery
And be broke.
and be broke?
Right.
What?
No.
And I'm not belittling
Mhm.
what our ancestors had to go through, but if
Yeah.
I was doing this just to do it,
Mhm.
that would be a version of enslaving myself. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm not a slave to anything.
Mhm.
I'm definitely not a slave to what people think about me when I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yes.
Right? If
Mhm.
you decide that you don't want to sell your business, that is your business. But
Yes.
you don't tell me what to do
Mhm.
with mine.
Right.
Right?
Mhm.
Because it's none of yours. It's not your business. It's mine.
Yeah.
Right? If you decide that you want to have a business that's around for the next 100 years that you only own,
Mhm.
do that.
Yeah.
Do that. That's beautiful that you want to do that.
Mhm.
I want to build dope things,
Mhm.
and this isn't the only dope thing I want to do,
Wow. Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And so, and but but it's probably the main thing
Mhm.
that will help me to amass the wealth that will make it possible for me to do the other things that I dream of doing.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So
Mhm.
then in those other things, I can just be creative. I don't
Mhm.
have to do it trying to be wealthy because I'm already wealthy.
Yes.
And I'm not
Yeah.
saying that to flex. I'm
Mhm.
just saying that because it's
It's the
true.
truth. Yeah.
I can just do dope shit with my friends because that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Right? Not because I need this to work. I don't want to operate like that.
Yeah.
But if you want to operate like that, do that.
Mhm.
I don't want to live in struggle. I like money.
Yes.
I like having multiple houses. I like traveling.
Oh, this is
I
my kind of
like,
girl right here.
you understand?
Yes.
I like beautiful art. I love beautiful
Yes.
clothes. I
Mhm.
like somebody cooking me food.
Mhm.
I like getting my house cleaned every day. What does it take to do that? Money.
Money.
I like that. I need that.
Yeah.
Right? And
Mhm.
I've experienced that. And there's no backsies on that.
Yes. That's so true. Yeah.
So, but that's what I want for my life. And that's nobody's business but mine.
Yeah.
So nobody should have any say so about what I'm deciding to do.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just not cool.
Yep.
And I feel like we need to do a better job. I met with one of my best friends. Her mom is like a meditation coach, and
Mhm.
we were talking about meditation, but how there's a lot of things that you need to do before you even get to sit down to the place where there's so many different types of meditations
Mhm.
that you need to do before you even sit down to meditate.
Right.
You need to let go of some baggage. Like there's some things that you need to address. You need to understand what are the things you're doing when you're not minding your own business,
Come on.
right? What's the what did she say? It was like emotional something. She was saying how we're in conversation with somebody, with a friend, and they're telling us how something's wrong, and we just want to jump in and fix it.
Yeah.
And she's like, that's none of your business unless somebody asks you. You
Mhm.
should just mind yours, because you know what? You probably don't even have the emotional bandwidth to do that.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
It's so true.
So I'm not trying to be mean or disrespectful, but I just think whenever any of us as Black people are able to be successful and are able to grow our companies and scale them and make millions of dollars and sell them or IPO them or whatever it is that we're trying to do, that should only be good for our culture.
Yeah.
That should never be. And sure, whoever goes in to buy it, sure, they may change something, right?
Yep.
But change is inevitable.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
just is.
That's so true.
you
Yeah.
know, and and so I just think that we need to do a better job as a community lifting each other up,
Mm-hmm.
not putting these expectations on one another
Yeah.
that we wouldn't hold to ourselves. It's
Mm-hmm.
easy to hold a to hold a
Yeah.
mirror up to somebody else
Hmm.
and tell them what you think they should be doing
Mm-hmm. But
when
it's
you
not easy to look in that
and it's
mirror
but
at
it's not
yourself.
easy to look in it,
Mm-mm.
and
Yeah.
I just want us to do better,
Mm-hmm.
because
No, for sure.
listen, because let me tell you something. I don't sell out.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what I do.
Yeah.
I'm true to myself. I'm true to myself. I'm true to my ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a good person.
Yeah.
I'm good to people.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm too good. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I know that about myself. So there's nothing that anybody can say to me that's
Yeah.
going to make me think different.
Right.
But it is something when millions of people are putting their energy in your direction.
Mm.
We need to be more responsible with that because
Yeah.
that's not very kind.
Come on. That's real.
We need to do better about this cancel culture stuff. We need to do
Mm-hmm.
better about it because when all these lies are spread and this big massive game of telephone is happening, there
Mm-hmm.
is a person at the other end of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you should treat people how you want to be treated, man.
Yeah.
And you should also treat them the way that they want to be treated. And
Yes.
nobody wants millions and millions of people talking about them and their business and their company and what they're doing, and they sold it and they did this,
Yeah.
and or all the other lies that can spin out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants that,
Yeah.
right? I'm an
Right.
empath. I'm an intuitive. I can feel all that stuff, and it just doesn't feel good.
Yeah, I was gonna
You
ask you,
know,
how does it make you
it
feel?
just feels. It feels. I don't. It just feels weird.
Yeah.
It's like you don't even know why you're feeling the way you're feeling, kind of
Mhm.
feeling.
Mhm.
You know,
Mm. Yeah.
and then not only that, it's hard for the people who sit in our social media,
Mhm.
who have to siphon through
Mm.
these terrible, terrible, terrible words
Yeah.
and 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 people just being mean for no reason.
Yeah.
What we will allow ourselves to do in a group
Mhm.
is wild,
Yeah.
and so I would just ask, and that's why every time, you know, we've had any viral moment or anything like that,
Mhm.
we're always told by PR, you should just be quiet and
Yep.
not say
That's what I've been
anything.
taught too.
But
Yeah.
those days are dead, man,
Mm. Mm.
because social media is alive.
Mhm. It is.
And if you don't get out and say something, right, you have to be careful about what you say. You
Mhm.
shouldn't feed into it, but
Yeah.
but speaking your truth,
Mhm.
I think is important, and not speaking it because you expect something in return,
Mhm.
right? But I think
Yeah.
you actually saying what's real is important,
Mhm.
you know, because you don't want people just coming up with their own narrative. Some people
Right.
may not care, but
Mhm.
I care because what
Yeah.
we do is important. The business we're in is important. We
Mhm.
make products for people's vaginas. That
Mhm.
matters.
Yes.
That matters. And the
Mhm.
energy that is sewed into these products matter. So
Yeah.
my team cannot be their vibration can't be low
Right.
because people have heard a lie
Mhm.
and are doing all kinds of wild things on the internet and saying
Mhm.
all kinds of wild things on social media.
Mhm.
At least what we can do is say our piece
Mhm.
and then we can leave it,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
Because it's just important and it's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
This work is hard to do, especially when you're doing it with care,
Yes.
and love, and like
Mhm.
when you're really putting good energy into it for real,
Yeah. Right.
so that when people use these products, I'm not trying to be super esoteric because
Mhm.
not everybody believes in the things I believe in. They
Mhm.
don't have to. When they use these products are healing
Mhm.
for that reason, not
Mhm.
just for the ingredients that are in the bottle,
Yeah.
but because of all the things that surrounded it that went into it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So not to I'm sorry for the tangent. It's
No,
just
this is no,
these
people need
things
to
are
hear that.
it's real, man.
Yeah.
You
No, it's
know?
so true. You talked about the stress, the weight of carrying all this. And
Mhm.
I want to get into that because I'm also big on mental health and just hearing you talk. It's almost like a therapy session, like you're letting it all out. And I want to know, as you're going through these emotions and trying to carry all this weight, what do you do for you?
I do a lot of stuff. Um, you know, I I have to have a lot of order in my house,
Hmm.
which we're going through renovations right now, so that's hard, but it's working out.
Uh-huh.
Um, Eating well is really important, drinking
Yes.
water. You and I both are like fanatics about not drinking out of plastic
Plastic,
and things like that.
yes. Mhm.
I stay on top of it with my health. I work
Yeah.
out multiple times per week.
Mhm.
Um, I, you know, I I go to the chiropractor.
Oh, I gotta do better about
I
that.
get
Yeah.
acupuncture. Um, I had a therapist,
Mhm.
but I kind of go in and out of having a therapist just because
Yeah.
like I feel like there's seasons in my life where I need it and then there's seasons in my life
Mhm.
where I don't, where I just
Yeah.
want to be. Um, I do different types of therapies like oxygen therapy. I do
Mhm.
um when I can red light therapy or
Love red light
sauna,
therapy. Yeah.
um I got out of practice of like sitting down and being quiet just
Mm.
because things were really busy
Okay.
and I
Yeah.
just kind of would get to
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
But I'm now working on uh change creating whatever my practice is now, not going
Yeah.
back to what it was, but wherever,
Right now, yeah.
I'm in a really beautiful relationship.
Love
I spend
that.
time with my family when I can.
Mhm.
I have a beautiful dog,
Oh.
Zero. Spend a lot of time with her,
Mhm.
you know. Spend a lot of time with my amazing team,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. Um, and I'm just I just do stuff.
Yeah.
I just try to take care of myself, you
Yeah.
know. Go to bed, take baths,
Listen,
you
going
know.
to bed. That
Mhm.
is so big because as entrepreneurs, our brain is always going. We're creative thinkers. Sometimes it's hard to shut this thing off.
It
You
is.
know,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
some getting that rest. I last
Yeah.
week we were going, going, going. I've been filming, and this left eye would not stop twitching.
Stress, man.
Finally, it stopped because I
Mhm.
took a few days just to sleep. Like
Yeah.
didn't get out, just literally slept
Yeah.
and ate, and that was it.
Yeah.
And I was like, my body was like, this is what we need. I needed
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I stopped drinking a ton.
Yeah, me too. I let go of hard liquor. That
Yeah.
helped me a lot.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I that doesn't mean I don't drink, but it's
Mhm.
literally like maybe a couple times a month.
Yeah.
Um,
Moderation is good.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't really I don't smoke the green anymore. Like I don't
Nope.
do any of that stuff
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
I just I want to be well
Yes.
and I want to grow old,
Mhm. Yeah.
you know?
Was there something in your life that sparked those moments where you're like, I don't want to drink anymore. I don't want to smoke anymore.
I think some of those things just kind of happen naturally.
Mhm.
I've never been a great drinker.
Uh-huh.
You know? Like I'm always the
Yeah.
person where it's like a cute drink and I'm like, that looks cute.
Yeah.
I'll try it and I never finish it. I think just as my wellness journey
Mhm.
has kind of intensified,
Yeah.
um, you know, i- and it's also like the company I keep,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
I feel like you are who you hang with. And so the
Absolutely.
company I keep also doesn't do a lot of those things, you know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
so, I just think as you're taking care of yourself, you're
Yeah.
paying attention to your body and how it feels.
Mhm.
And when something doesn't feel right, like I don't really have the luxury of being sick.
Mhm.
I have things to do, you know?
Yes.
And so, so like it's like I can go out or I can go to bed. I'm
Mhm.
probably gonna go to bed,
Me too.
and then a couple times a month or something I'll
Mm.
go out,
Yeah.
but you know, um, but another thing that I love
Uh-uh.
sitting down and watching TV.
What are your favorite shows?
Whew, it's like one of my favorite pastimes because it's like brainless.
Yes.
Godfather of Harlem
It's so good. This
Yeah.
new season,
Yes.
I love that
So
show.
good.
Yes.
So good.
So
I
good.
love where it's going because they really set it up to be able
Yes.
to continue to have seasons.
Yes.
You know, I like British detective shows.
So good. The writing on those shows is so
It's so
good.
good,
Yes,
right?
it's so
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I just like to chill, man.
Yeah. Are you a binger? Do you like shows where you can just sit there and watch episode after episode after
It
episode?
depends. If
Mhm.
it's a weekend, I
Okay.
might binge.
Yeah, if you have time. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
but like during the week, we try to be responsible, you
yeah.
know. And then we've been like me and my partner, we've been like keeping our phone out of the bedroom. That's new.
Okay.
It's hard.
So I can right.
It's
So do you
hard,
wake up
sister.
to like do you run like when you the moment you wake up are you like, okay, I gotta get to the phone? Or do you take
I
a
wake
moment?
up and look at the time
Uh-huh.
because our dog, she's not technically a puppy because she's
Mhm.
like 8 months old, but
Mhm.
she's still a puppy. She's still
Yeah.
a baby, you know. And so she wakes up early,
Mhm.
sometimes a couple times a night.
Mhm.
And so, so I might find myself like checking the time,
Yeah.
but I'm getting more used to it.
Yeah.
And we have a house phone.
You are probably one of the only people in the world, I'm joking, not in the world, but like
But no, honestly,
very few people
so
still have a house
we
phone.
have a house phone, and
Yeah.
there's a way you can do it just with the internet in your house.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, just look
cool.
it up.
'Cause you know how like on different like forms you have to fill out, they ask you the home phone. I'm like,
Yeah,
cell phone is the
yeah,
same as my
yeah,
home
yeah, yeah,
phone.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think having the house phone helps. So like if
Yeah.
it's really an emergency, but
The people who need to get to you can.
yeah, man, but you know,
That's
it's
so good.
yeah, because it's not really good sleeping with all that
That's what I'm hearing.
EMF in
MF,
your
yep.
room.
And mine was literally like right at my nightstand, like probably this far from my
And
head.
yeah,
And they say it's not
and the
good.
Bluetooth and all that
hmm
stuff. It's just not really great for you,
Yeah.
you
I'm
know.
finding out the wireless routers aren't good, and I've got those all over the house. I'm like, Lord have mercy, everything is killing us.
It's yeah, it's why because our bodies aren't set up for all of this.
Yeah.
Our bodies aren't set up for all this
hmm
5G and all, it's just not set up for that.
Yeah.
So so I just being cognizant of that. I don't wear
hmm
the electric
Bluetooth
ones.
earbuds. Yeah.
Nah, I
You do
just
the
if it,
cord
I just
one.
I'm old school with it.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but
It's not. I recently bought one with the cord, and
yeah,
my friends make fun of me. And I was telling a friend of mine, Brenda, she was like, "Do you have the cord earbuds in?" I said, "Yeah," and I was
yeah,
like, "Because they're really bad for you." And she was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then like a week later, she's like, I got them."
yeah. I mean, we need to be cognizant.
hmm
It's people are just starting to become aware that your
Yes.
phone needs to be what was it
Certain amount of
like five something
away from
away
your
like
body.
5 inches away
And
from your
it's in
body.
the phone, like
Yeah,
it's in the
yeah,
bylaws of your phone, but
yeah,
people never knew that it was
yeah,
there, telling us
yeah.
don't have this like
So
so close to
imagine
your
if your phone shouldn't be that, and then we got these earpieces like right in
penetrating
our
our
ear.
brain. Yeah,
Let me stop there because I don't want nobody coming after me.
right.
But
Because we love
but
all cellular providers.
exactly, exactly. But yeah,
It's funny. Um, how do you, in these moments, stay grounded? Like with everything that you have going on. I know you do your ritual. You know what I'm saying? You have your rituals, but like
yeah.
even with like your family and friends, like
I want to be grounded, man. I
yeah,
want to be.
yeah,
I am grounded. I mean, I'm
yeah.
just out here like
Because you,
everybody else.
yeah,
You know,
no, for sure.
I'm honestly like I'm a human being like everybody else. I'm having an
hmm
experience like everybody else.
Yeah,
You know, I'm I have problems like everybody else. There's nothing about my lived experience that's different than anybody else.
yeah,
I've, you know, the only difference may be is that we've been able to experience a level of success that doesn't happen every day.
yeah.
But that doesn't make you immune to anything. It's
Yes.
just money,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
And I think people put money on such a pedestal.
Mhm.
Money it provides you, you know, with resources. It provides you
Mhm.
options,
Yeah.
but it doesn't stop life from happening. It
Mhm.
doesn't make things less hard. It
No, it
doesn't.
does
I
not.
shouldn't say it doesn't make things less hard because it can make things less hard.
Mhm.
But things will still be hard whether you have a lot or a little, you know.
You are not like a lot of people feel like once you make it, it gets easier.
Because
Like we
what
talked
is
about that more money, more problems, but it really does. Like
yeah,
it gets heavier. Like
what is making it, you
what
know?
is yeah.
Honestly, like it
Everybody defines that differently.
everybody is relative, man,
Yeah.
and and I'm not going to sit here and say that I haven't accomplished
Mm-hmm.
what I want to what I've
Yeah.
wanted to accomplish.
Yeah.
But I have so many more things that I want to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
There
Yeah.
is no such thing as a level. There is no, there is
Mm-mm.
you know this invisible table that people want to sit around, like, I'm not saying that it doesn't exist,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not for real, you
Yeah.
know
Mm-hmm.
um I,
Yeah.
so I think that just keeps me grounded because I'm on the
Mm-hmm.
ground. I'm on the
Yeah.
ground like everybody else,
Uh-huh. Right. Yeah. What is one piece of advice that you wish you had have known when you started off building this brand that you're like, if you could pass it on to another young woman or man that's trying to get their business off the ground, what would you tell them?
I would say take care of yourself
Hmm.
and keep yourself out of debt.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah.
Because debt is hard when you're in
Mhm.
business,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I was where were we? I just had a dinner, Emma and she was talking about the importance of like when you're building, don't spend all your money. There's people who want to support you and spend theirs. How do you feel about that?
When you're building, don't spend your own money.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Mhm.
I agree with that. I mean, Emma has Emma has the right circle for that.
She does. Yeah.
So I think that statement is relative.
Mm.
You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
she is brilliant
For
the way that
yes.
she built
Mhm.
herself, the way she built her people, the way she built
Yeah.
the illest businesses that she's built,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Um, you know, she is a genius when
Mhm.
it comes to knowing how to
Mhm.
go to people to spend their money.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that genius,
Mhm. Yeah.
so I think if you're a person who has that,
Mhm.
um, do that. And if you're a person who doesn't have that
Mhm.
and you have the capability to learn how to
Yes.
do that, you
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
And there's some people, that may not work, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
Because you have to have a gift for,
Yeah.
you
You
know. I mean, my friend John Gray, he's he's gifted with that, you
mhm.
know.
Yeah.
So gifted with that.
Mhm.
I'm not particularly gifted with that.
Same. Yeah.
I'm just being honest,
Mhm.
And me and Sai have raised a shit ton of money. I'm
Yeah.
gifted with that,
Mhm.
but I'm not necessarily gifted at uh spending somebody else's money if it's not like an investment into the business, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I applaud it. I think it's
Mhm.
great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really
It's a
do.
way to stay out of debt for sure.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. But
Yeah.
and I guess I'm just saying the debt thing because when you're growing and building,
Mhm.
you really need to you need to make sure that you can take care of your household,
Yes.
you know?
No, for sure.
Because when you're not well, like when you're in a desperate situation,
Mhm.
it can like make you're also building a business, which is also a desperate situation within
Yeah.
itself, right?
Mhm.
And that's hard enough even within itself. So you just
Yeah.
want to make sure that you're being responsible with what you have. And so that's
Right.
why not just quitting your job and keeping your
Mhm.
job, running your business until your
Yeah.
business can take care of,
Mhm.
or until you can raise the money or whatever the situation is.
Right.
So I think that I also think making sure you take care of your health
Mhm. So important. So
and and
important.
and, and your weight
Yeah.
and your fitness
Mhm.
and keep the extracurricular activities um to a minimum,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
That's also something that's some people live by the work hard, play hard, but
Mhm.
play hard comes back to bite
It
you.
does. Oof. It does.
So Work
Mhm.
hard, take care of yourself,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
play every now and again,
Yeah.
you know, but that's my mantra for myself.
Yeah, and I feel like that also helps keep your focus sharp.
It does.
You know,
It
kind of
does.
weeds out the distraction
It
too.
does. It does.
Yeah.
Because when you out every night,
Mhm.
you running, you smoking, you drinking, you, you know, some people you sniffing, whatever you
Mhm.
doing,
Yeah.
you're not thinking with your right mind.
Right.
You can't be.
Mm-mm. You're not
You
for
just can't
sure.
be. So if you have issues with any of those things,
Mhm.
with whether it's a pill or whatever the thing is,
Mhm.
I would say if wanting to be successful, get a handle on that.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
so true. Yes.
talk to somebody, get some help, take
Mhm.
some medicine,
Yeah.
do whatever you need to do. Because it can. Because the other thing is you don't want to get successful and not be happy.
Yeah. And sometimes you can come like if you're already doing those things, you can end up becoming dependent on
You
those
will,
things.
because then you can afford more,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
So, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do, but
Yeah.
you're asking my opinion.
For sure. Yeah.
Those are things that I think, because it's happening more and more these
Mhm.
days.
Yep.
And I and especially in our community.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that.
Mhm.
And we need to be thinking about what we're gonna do when we're 65. We
Yeah.
need to be thinking about how are we gonna retire,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
You're not going to get there by living a soft life,
Right.
you know
Mm.
so or just being outside
Yeah.
doing any and everything,
Mhm.
you know um so I just think it's really important that you care for yourself
Yeah.
and really look at all the things you're doing,
Mhm.
because if you can plenty of people have reached success
Mhm.
doing all kinds of stuff,
Yeah.
so let's be clear about that.
Mhm.
But a lot of those people are leaving this place,
Yeah.
whether it's by their own hand or not.
Mhm.
And so that's also something that we need to look at,
Yeah. No, for
you
sure.
know,
As a community, yeah.
and why try to achieve success and you're not happy? You're not really enjoying it.
No, and that's the point.
What's the point?
Yeah.
It's silly.
It really is. It really is. How have the recent changes in DEI impacted your business? We
Mm,
know that there's so many stores. You're everywhere,
yeah.
and I'm asking this because I also want to let our audience know how can we support, how can we make sure that
Yeah.
we champion
Thank
you.
you.
Absolutely, yeah, because I know it's impacting everyone.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is. It definitely impacted us.
Mhm.
Traffic is definitely down at that
Mhm.
retailer.
Mhm.
Um, which impacts everybody.
Yeah.
So in that particular space, sales are down. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
it's starting to improve,
Okay.
which is great.
Yeah.
Um, because we have an omni-channel business, we are in a really great position
Okay. Good.
because we're not reliant. And
Mhm.
normally when something like this happens, if it's down in one place, it's probably up in another place
Right.
because people are just leaving that place and going to the other
And still getting
places.
what they like. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And so so that gives us the ability
Good.
to be successful and make up for it.
Yeah.
um you know this DEI stuff is hard because it's for people who don't have an omni-channel
Mhm.
strategy. It's difficult,
Yeah.
but that's why you have to have an omni-channel strategy
Mhm.
and not reliant on just one thing.
Yeah.
People will say, why can't I just go to your website? Well,
Mhm.
going to the website's cute,
Mhm.
but websites aren't as profitable as you think. Yes, you
Mm.
make more money, you may make your full margin on your site, but
Mhm.
what it costs for somebody to pick and pack and box and tape and
Mm.
do all that,
Mhm.
right? You've
Mm.
lost a lot of that margin that you so called just made,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So and even Amazon,
Mhm.
Amazon is an incredible, it's a huge part of our
Huge.
business,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
It's a huge part of everybody's business, but
Yeah.
also those FBA fees
Mhm.
are on another level, right?
Mm.
So it may seem like you're you're making more money through those channels,
Yeah.
but when you take a step back and look at the profitability of that, you have
Mhm.
to look at the whole thing,
Yeah.
and that whole thing paints a picture, you
Mm.
know. So it affects businesses in a huge way,
Mhm.
but it goes back to some of the things we were talking about earlier, people's lack of understanding,
Yes.
you know. So I'm not here, I can't tell people what to do with their money or
Mhm.
where they should go and shop. That's
Right.
none of my business.
Mhm.
All that I'm saying is that when we decide to do what we did, um, or to just stop shopping somewhere,
Mhm.
how it affects the businesses that you may
Yes.
have shopped there.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
deeply affects them.
Yeah.
And a lot of those businesses are newer businesses or just getting
Mhm.
started,
Yeah.
and the retailers look at those sales,
Mhm.
right? They're looking, are you meeting your dollars per store per week?
Right.
Are you hitting your velocities that you need to hit,
Mhm.
right? They're giving grace because they know what's going on,
Yeah.
but there's
Okay.
also only so long
That they
that
can
they
do
can
that.
give that grace,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And so it can deeply affect that. And then how that affects that brand growing
Mhm.
is, if you didn't do good in that one retailer,
Mhm.
when you go, normally the other retailers are basing how you did based off of how you did with that one, right?
Yeah.
And so, just so people know, that's what can happen
Mhm.
when we decide
That we're
to
gonna boycott.
when we decide that
Mhm.
we want to boycott,
Mm. Yeah.
um you know and it's not just as easy as, like, I'll just shop on their website or I'll buy
Right.
them on Amazon.
Mhm.
It's much deeper than that, because what it takes to get into a retailer like Target or
Mhm.
Walmart or anywhere else is
Yeah.
astronomical. It
Mm.
is astronomical. You have to work with the manufacturer, because it's really hard to do that on your own. Some people do it, but it's really
Mhm.
hard to do it.
Yeah.
You have to raise money. You don't get paid for like 90 to 120 days, depending on, in the beginning.
Yeah.
You're not getting a purchase order where they're going to pay you right away. They don't pay you before it goes into their store,
Mm.
right? Like, that's not how that works,
Right.
you know. And so, and then, because you've probably amassed some sort of debt, or you've raised money or
Mhm.
whatever, trying to prep for that, you don't even realize, especially if you're new to retail, mass
Mhm.
market retail, you don't even know, okay, when am I going to have to go back and order more product again?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then, and every time you do that, that costs tens of thousands of dollars.
Mhm.
So, like, and if you haven't gotten paid from the retailer yet, maybe you were able to raise enough money to get it started. And I'm
Mhm.
projecting because that's what happened with us.
Right.
But that happens. So, like, boycotting is a really big thing to do.
Mhm.
I understand the point, and it
Mhm.
is driving the point, believe me.
Mm.
It's working.
Okay.
It's driving the point. They're
Mhm.
they they're getting themselves together, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
Because I'm sure nobody thought it was going to get to where it is,
No.
right?
Yeah.
But here we are.
Mhm.
So it did work. So
Yeah.
I do commend
Mhm.
us for that. At the
Yeah.
same time, I'm not
Mhm.
trying to talk out of both sides of my mouth,
I understand.
but
Yeah.
just from a business point of view,
Mhm.
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really hard. Even though I get it,
Yeah.
sometimes, unless you mess with somebody's money, they're not
Mhm.
gonna understand.
Mhm.
And so I think it was necessary,
Mhm.
right? But I also know that it's hard, you
Yeah.
know. Um, and so it's, you know, I yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it. In closing, I want to ask you about the legacy that you want to continue to build and the impact that you want to leave on our community.
Mm, you know, as far as impact, I deeply believe in making staples, things that
Mhm.
people need every single day,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
And I believe in it so much because I'm crazy enough to think that I or we can do it really well.
Yes.
And it turns out we
We
can,
can.
you know?
Yes.
And so, you know, like, so I guess the impact that I want to make is that I I think I was brought to this planet for that.
Yeah.
And I want to just continue to do that, you
Yeah.
know, and continue to serve humanity in that way and make products that actually benefit people's lives and make
Mhm.
them better and
Yeah.
help them to be proactive with their health and
Mhm.
things like that.
Yeah.
Um, and as far as the legacy, I don't know,
Yeah.
man. I want Honeypot to be here into infinity.
Yeah.
You know, I want Honeypot to be a conglomerate brand within
Mhm.
itself,
Yes.
you know?
Mhm.
Um, and whether I'm here with my team running it or not, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
And so, I'm grateful to do it, and
Yeah.
and I'm grateful for all the success that we've had and all the support that we've been given,
Mhm.
and to everybody that's gotten us to where we are. To my
Mhm.
brother, I'm grateful to all of it.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Now you have some new products that you guys have launched. Let's
Yes.
get into it so they can know what to look out for. You have the new panty liners or pads.
Yes. So we have our long liners
Mhm.
that are in cooling and also are in calming.
Yes. So
Um
you want a little tingle, you can get the tingle if you want it calm.
exactly, exactly. We have our calming pads, which are absolutely beautiful, that are
Mhm.
infused with ashwagandha,
Yes.
lavender, lemon balm. So
Mm.
they're not gonna, you know how the cooling pads you get, like it's like kind of like a peppermint patty vibe.
Yes. Mhm.
With the calming, you're not necessarily getting you're not getting any kind of a sensory
Mhm.
in the same way you would get with the cooling,
Right.
but clinical studies, the clinical trials on this were insane. Like
Really.
80%, 90%, like, and those are numbers that are astounding from a clinical trial.
Yeah.
But they were literally clinically tested
Mhm.
and proven to be able to ease irritation on the skin.
Oh wow.
And then they have those beautiful adaptogens,
Mhm.
ashwagandha is an adaptogen, great for stress. But there it's just infused with really, really, really beautiful herbs.
Okay.
And then the prebiotic isn't really new,
Right.
but kind of new.
Mhm.
It's been around for 2 years now.
Okay. Because I
The
don't
we're
see it. I don't see it often. I see the
Because it's not
mild and the
it's growing.
okay.
So I believe we launched it early last year.
Mhm.
And then and so this is its second year. And
Okay.
normally when you launch something,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
it takes time for it to grow and
Yeah.
build.
Mhm.
But it's beautiful. It's
Okay.
my favorite
All right. I can't wait
wash
to
and
try
wipe.
it.
Oh my God.
Okay.
It's so good.
Awesome. I cannot
So
wait.
yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
some of my favorites are the foam wash. I use that. I use your wipes, and then after my cycle, I like to use the boric acid suppositories just to
Yes.
get
Just
on,
to clear it
yeah,
on
clear it
out.
on out of there.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes, thank you so much, Bea.
No,
I
thank you.
thoroughly enjoyed this conversation with you.
Me too.
You've impacted me, you've inspired me, and
Same
I
to you.
appreciate you taking the time to sit with me.
Thank you.
Yes, this is good. So good. Oh my goodness, girl. Yes. All right, y'all, let's get into the vid. Today, I am wearing a yellow Jock Moose polo. I'm wearing black Jock Moose Bermuda shorts and leopard print patent leather cheetah pumps by Dolce & Gabbana. And my signature jewelry, earrings by Bottega Veneta, and my signature rings and Van Cleef bracelets. Listen, today was a reminder that we need to listen to our intuition, trust the guidance of our ancestors, and we will find our purpose. Huge thank you to Bea Dixon for joining us and sharing her energy, her light, and her story. Whether you're building something from scratch or just trying to pour back into yourself, I hope today you find the room to breathe, to reflect, and choose peace. Until next time, keep it positive, sweetie.